Welcome today. Our group presents a comprehensive report on our recent field trip to a site that stands as a grim reminder of history, law, and the consequences of human actions. The Malaya Prison Museum, located in the historical state of Malacca. As we stood before the imposing main gate, we weren't just looking at a museum. We were looking at a fortress of discipline that has stood for over a century. This facility, formerly known as the Banda Hill Prison, is a cornerstone of the Malayan penal system's history. Our journey today is not just a tour. It is an investigation into how the Malayan correctional system balances the heavy scales of punishment and rehabilitation. Through this video, we will take you inside the walls that once held hundreds of prisoners, exploring the intake process, the living conditions, the vocational training, and the harsh realities of corporal punishment. Why did we come here? The objective of this field trip goes beyond fulfilling a course requirement. As students studying, we needed to witness the practical application of the theories we learned in class. Our specific goals were, first, to understand the historical evolution of prison administration in Malaysia, dating back to the colonial era. Second, to observe the standard operation procedures regarding prisoners' management from the moment they step through the gates to their daily rehabilitation routine. And third, to critically reflect on the concept of freedom, but witnessing the deprivation of liberty. We aim to better appreciate the value of integrity and the importance of abiding by the law. Our tour began with an in-depth briefing by the prison officer who provided us with fascinating historical data regarding the establishment of this facility. We learned that the structure is steeped in history, established in the year 1816. This is the second oldest prison in Malaysia, with the oldest being the Taiping prison for over 150 years. This was housed inmates until operations finally ceased in 2010, and it was officially converted into a museum later in 2014. The officer explained the capacity of this facility. Despite its intimidating size, it was designed to hold only about 300 to 400 prisoners at a time. This relatively small number allowed for strict control and management. He also walked us through the critical intake procedure. At the main entrance, this is where the reality of prison life begins. When police bring in a suspect, the prison guards perform a rigorous check. They verify the warrants and the court orders to ensure the detention is lawful before any processing begins. We were told about the temporary lockup procedure. If a large group of 20 to 30 prisoners arrived at once, they would not be processed immediately. Instead, they would be placed in a temporary holding cell behind the registration counter. Perhaps the most sobering part of the briefing was the description of the strip search. The officer explained that the prisoners are brought in groups of 5. They must remove all clothing so officers can check for contraband, tattoos, or hidden items, even personal possession. Money, jewelry, even shoes is recorded meticulously and locked away in storage. From that moment on, they lose their identity and become property of the state. Moving deep into the facility, we examine the living quarters. The atmosphere here changes instantly. It becomes claustrophobic and cold. We saw the mock cells where prisoners spend the majority of their time. The sleeping arrangements are stark, as you can see in our footage. There are no beds, only neatly folded blankets on a hard floor. The simplicity is deliberate, designed to strip away comfort and force reflection. We also observed isolation cells. The heavy bars and small spaces serve as a psychological reminder of confinement. Standing there, even as visitors, we felt the weight of restricted freedom. It made us realize the punishment is not just the sentence itself, but the daily reality of this environment and atmosphere. However, the Malaysian prison system is not solely about punishment. It is heavily focused on rehabilitation. We visited the vocational workshops, which prove that prisoners are given second chance to learn. First, we visited the tailoring workshop. We saw rows of vintage and modern sewing machines. Here, prisoners are taught to measure, cut, and sew uniforms. This requires patience, precision, and discipline, traits that are essential for their reintegration into society. Next, we moved to the carpentry workshop. We observed a variety of woodworking tools and finished products. Prisoners learned to work with wood, creating furniture and handicrafts. These workshops are vital. They transform dead time in prison into productive time, ensuring that when these individuals walk out of the gates, they have a skill to support themselves and their families. Now, last but not least, one of the most intense moments of our trip was the demonstration of corporal punishment, the rotan cannon. We gathered in the courtyard to witness how this sentence is carried out. The officer explained the procedure meticulously, the specific type of cane used, the medical officers present, and the sheer physical impact of the punishment. Seeing the demonstration frame where the prisoner is tied gave us a chilling realization of the severity of Malaysian law. This serves as a powerful deterrent, sending a clear message that crime carries painful physical consequences. In conclusion, our field trip to the Malaysian Prison Museum was a profound learning experience. We entered with curiosity, but we left with a deep sense of responsibility. We achieved our objective of understanding the penal system. We saw that a prison is a complex ecosystem. It is a place of history dating back to 1860, a place of strict procedure, from the intake strip searches to the daily roll calls, and a place of hope, found in the hum of the sewing machines and the sawdust of the carpentry workshops. Most importantly, the trip reinforced the value of our freedom. It reminded us that integrity is not just a concept in a textbook. It is the barrier that keeps us on the right side of those heavy iron gates. This concludes our whole report. Thank you for watching. Have a great day.